My name is Conor McGregor and I live in Lucan. Without a doubt, you will see me on the UFC in the near future. Without a doubt.
Look into my eyes, little man. Little Brazilian. Ooh, vamos here.
The fact that Aldo was so hell-bent on destroying Conor, he just was hell-bent, and Conor took advantage of that. You know what's even more genius? He worked on the exact same thing, and he mimicked what he was going to do in the green room.
Aldo Jr. Conor relaxed and smiling. Oh! He slapped him! Conor McGregor!
13 real seconds on the biggest stage in fighting for Conor McGregor to rip the entire featherweight division apart.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee John McCarthy's called a stop to this contest at 13 seconds of the very first round.
Imagine waiting years for your chance, training through pain and setbacks, finally getting to the cage, and then you wake up staring at the lights because one man's left hand found your chin before you even had a chance to blink. People screamed, "Lucky punch." People whispered about a fluke, but inside those ropes, everyone watching felt it. This wasn't luck. This was a plan that snapped shut perfectly in less time than it takes to unlock your phone. One punch, one shock. The king was dead.
It's getting better here in this round, though. Oh, man. Until that. Oh, he's done. He's done. History has been made. Conor McGregor is the UFC lightweight champion.
I'm the future.
Let's get something straight. Nothing about those 13 seconds is random. There is no panic in McGregor's eyes. He stands there, loose, almost casual, while Jose Aldo, champion for 10 years, called final boss by everyone, comes hunting. McGregor is not backing up. He's not even tense. His hands are lower than you'd ever teach a kid. It's a dare. It's bait. He is luring Aldo to step into his web. Aldo steps in, thinks he's caught the moment, and then suddenly, Conor's whole body coils up and fires that left hand with every bit of power, precision, and timing he owns. Aldo's face twists. He drops. The sound of that punch, the gasp from the crowd, the referee diving in, all of it burns into history. The official clock reads 0:13. The sport changes right there. Here's what the highlight reels always miss. McGregor's whole game is built on calm. There is no chaos in his big moments. He isn't hoping. He isn't guessing. Every feint, every inch, every second is about control. He makes the world slow down, then explodes when the opening is so obvious. It's like he is reading from a secret script nobody else has. That's why the cage feels colder when he's in it. That's why every coach, every analyst, every nervous fighter backstage starts asking, how do you even fight a man like that?
Here in Cage Warriors, he wins a featherweight belt.
I have never seen anything like that.
People love to talk about the trash talk, the crazy suits, the money, the brash words. None of it matters without that first knockout. If you want to understand how he broke the game, you need to start with those seconds where he didn't chase chaos. He created it, and he controlled it. Let's rip open the story that made the myth. Go back a few months before Aldo. UFC 189. The first time gold goes on Conor's shoulder. This isn't just a warm-up fight. He's facing Chad Mendes. Mendes isn't a loudmouth. He's a machine built for wrestling and violence. Mendes wants to drag Conor into deep water, put him flat on his back, and make him suffer. And for a while, it works. Early on, Mendes scores takedown after takedown. 4 out of 7 times, he plants Conor on the mat. He grinds, he pounds, and you can see what most prospects do in these moments. This is where the hype guys break. They flail. They burn out. They want the ref to save them, or they make desperate mistakes. But Conor? He stays patient. He eats the bad positions. He waits. He knows Mendes cannot hold him forever.
Conor McGregor is a UFC!
Wow.
Every time the fight returns to the feet, Conor's left hand snaps out. He chips away. He talks to Mendes. He mocks him. You can feel the momentum tilt. Mendes starts sucking wind. His arms get heavier. His shots get slower. In the second round, those inches Conor steals, just slipping back, just missing punches, begin to cost Mendes real minutes. Mendes is stuck in the mud. Conor starts pressing, mixing short punches and elbows. Mendes shells up, and with 3 seconds left in the round, Conor smashes him with a finishing blow. TKO. The belt goes to Conor, but something bigger happens in that moment. Everyone now knows the man is not just a striker. He is built for war. This fight does something huge. It proves Conor can walk into hell, get dragged into a wrestler's nightmare, and still come out swinging. No more calling him a hype job. No more laughing at the accent or the talk. Suddenly, the Conor effect starts to spread like fire.
Flag and represent their country and take on the best in the world, and it doesn't seem to me like there's anybody better.
Ask yourself, why did things explode like this? Before Conor, MMA sold itself as respect, honor, the tough guy handshake. It was fighters bowing, martial arts values. Let the best man win. It was quiet. It was a niche. And for most people, it felt small. Conor throws all of that out. He walks in and makes every fight an episode you can't miss. He turns press conferences into chaos, weigh-ins into mini-dramas, and brings every fan, every friend, every rival into the moment. He takes all the eyes, all the cameras, all the noise, and he turns it up.
54.5 for the challenger!
But the real story isn't about fame or money. It's about hunger. Conor didn't start rich. He wasn't a trust fund baby. He worked as a plumber's apprentice, scraping by. He lived on welfare, chasing a dream that looked stupid to everyone around him. When he said he'd be king, it sounded like a joke. But he believed it so hard, he made other people believe too. He walks into the UFC like he owns it. In April 2013, he fought Marcus Brimage. He doesn't just win, he bulldozes Brimage in 1 minute 7 seconds. This isn't a man who wants to find his place. He fights like he's late for destiny. By the time UFC 194 comes around, Aldo, 13 seconds, unified title, the room tilts. Something new enters the sport. And the thing is, Conor doesn't play the normal champion. He doesn't sit and defend against #1 contenders, waiting for orders. He jumps up in weight, chasing bigger games, hunting new worlds. That move, right there, is a crack in the wall. The sport stops being about rankings. It becomes about nights that matter, moments that break through, the money fights everyone chases now. The blueprint is set, the old order is done. But every empire has a turning point. For Conor, that wall is Nate Diaz at UFC 196. This is the first time the story turns against him in public.
And what's really big is this takedown at the end of the 5th and final round.
Conor comes in full of fire, swinging like he's going to end it in a round. Diaz, bloodied but stubborn, keeps moving forward, taking shots, laughing, talking back. The fight turns. Conor fades. He's breathing heavily. Diaz starts landing clean, then it gets ugly. Conor dives for a takedown he doesn't have the energy for, and Diaz takes his back, wraps up the choke, and the superstar taps. 4 minutes, 12 seconds. Everyone feels it. Why does this loss matter? Because the sport watches a man learn in public that you cannot sprint forever at the top. The body has limits. The gas tank empties. Nobody is invincible. So what does Conor do? He demands the rematch. UFC 202. 5 rounds, this time not wild, but careful. He manages his energy, picks his shots, keeps his mind sharp, and wins by decision. This is the Conor people didn't expect. Less flash, more discipline, but still dangerous. What does this do for the sport? It explodes the business. That rematch sells about 1.65 million pay-per-views. Suddenly, everyone realizes that people want stories, rivalries, personalities, not just belts and rankings. The sport changes again.
It may sound ridiculous at first to think that McGregor, despite being the most popular and highest paid athlete on the UFC roster.
Let's raise the stakes. UFC 205. Eddie Alvarez, lightweight champion, waits for McGregor. This is the night Conor tries to make history. First fighter to hold 2 UFC titles at the same time. The show moves to Madison Square Garden. The pressure is insane. And what happens? Conor puts on a masterclass. He drops Alvarez again and again. 3 knockdowns, total control, and finishes him in round 2. The crowd loses it. $17.7 million at the gate, over 20,000 fans. This isn't MMA as usual. This is the big league. Stadium numbers, boxing money. A new ceiling is set. All of that noise means one thing. Conor showed that MMA can be just as big as boxing, can sell out the world's most famous arena, and can create moments that cross into pop culture. But what about his style? People love to talk about the left hand of death or his wild mouth. That's just the surface. The real weapon is control. Not just with his fists, but with the rhythm, the story, the space. He fights like he's steering a ship through a storm, making the other man dance to his tune. Every stance, every fake, every tiny step pulls out reactions, draws mistakes, and then he strikes. Watch the Aldo knockout again. That's not a wild swing. That's a trap. Aldo walks into the space, and McGregor is already throwing before Aldo can change his mind. It's chess, not checkers. What happens next? Everyone starts copying the style. Fighters all over the world chase that blueprint. Set traps, read reactions, make the other guy write your story for you. But with all that power comes a target. Once Conor becomes the top draw, everything changes. Fighters start calling him out for a payday. Fans split into camps. Some love him, some want him to fall. The noise gets louder. Every move becomes news.
What are you looking at? Yeah, what you want to do? You want to do something? You want to do something? You want to do something?
Then comes Khabib, UFC 229. This is the fight that swallows the sport whole. It's the biggest event in MMA history, about 2.4 million buys. It isn't just a fight, it's a storm. Inside the cage, Khabib is a different kind of danger. He isn't trying to punch McGregor's head off. He closes the cage, grabs the legs, controls every inch, and makes the world smaller and smaller. McGregor can't move, can't find the space. Khabib grinds him down, and in round 4, he takes the neck, chokes McGregor out. 3 minutes, 3 seconds. It is over. That fight does more than hand McGregor another loss. It kills the myth of the pure striker for a moment. It shows that a grappler, a master of control, can shut down the king for 5 rounds.
Quite like Conor McGregor, yet that glimmering success has been shadowed by a dramatic fall from grace.
After that, Conor's legend grows, but so do the risks. He becomes a symbol. Insane highs, insane lows. Everything turned up to 11. Injuries, layoffs, big talk, more losses. Everyone is watching to see what happens next. He comes back for Dustin Poirier at UFC 257. He looks sharp at first, but Poirier has a plan. He smashes the leg, takes away Conor's base, and the damage adds up. Conor slows. Poirier finds his moment, TKO, round 2. They ran it back at UFC 264. It gets worse. At the end of round 1, Conor's leg snaps. Doctor stoppage. He hasn't fought since. So where does that leave us? 2026 sits in front of us. There is talk of the UFC putting on a card at the White House, celebrating America's 250th birthday. McGregor wants in. Dana White is less sure. The story isn't locked. It's negotiation, timing, bodies, egos, business. Everything that makes the modern fight world so unpredictable. And honestly, that's pure McGregor. Everything wild, everything on the edge. Let's not sugarcoat what he did to the sport. He changed it 3 ways that can't be undone. First, he changed how fights are sold. Before him, stars were famous in the gym, in sports. Conor made himself famous everywhere. He made MMA feel bigger than life. The numbers say it all. $1.65 million for the Diaz rematch. $2.4 million for Khabib. He showed every promoter that style and story bring money. Second, he changed what fighters believe is possible. The double champ moment wasn't just a trophy, it was a green light. Suddenly, everyone dreams bigger. Switch divisions, take risks, be a legacy builder. Conor proved you can do it and make the world care. Third, he changed the way people fight. He made feints, timing, reading the other guy, the coolest part of the game. He made calm look dangerous, precision look brutal. Now, even the new kids in the sport talk about setting traps and making reads. That wasn't always cool. It is now. Here's the dark side nobody wants to admit. When you make yourself the main character, the game will always try to break you. It's not just about beating the other fighter. You have to beat the calendar, the pressure, the spotlight, the need to always be bigger, louder, better. The cost is real. McGregor's career splits in 2. The highlight reel, Aldo in 13, Mendes in 2. Diaz Wars, Alvarez masterpiece, double champ legend. But also, the price. Layoffs, injuries, losses, the brutal truth that the sport never owes you anything. The world cheers, but it also waits for the fall. If Conor comes back, the question is not, can he still win? It's, can he still be the man who bends the fight to his will? Can he control the space, make the traps, set the tempo? The gap is smaller now. Everyone has studied him. The world caught up. But remember, a true superstar doesn't just win. He shifts the world's expectations. McGregor did that every night he walked to the cage. He made the world stop and watch. He proved a fighter can become an event. He made talking as dangerous as punching. Even now, years since his last fight, every whisper about a comeback gets the world buzzing. Maybe it all ends with one more ride. Maybe not. But no matter what, Conor McGregor changed combat forever. And every fighter still lives in his shadow.